Eurozone inflation is hot, 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 but part of that's because the U.S. is just exporting it. Coming up here on The Jog. Hi folks, Alex Klingelhoeffer here with Exencial Wealth Advisors. It is 7:23 here in the middle part of the country on Monday. It is October 31st. Happy Halloween to you. Here's your morning jog around the economic headlines of the world, and truly it is a world affair today. I'm going to talk about all international news, starting off with Eurozone inflation today, 10.7%. Analysts looking for like 10%. It's pretty high. U.S. is currently exporting inflation to the rest of the world. Right? As the U.S. raises rates really aggressively, that makes countries sell their foreign currencies, buy dollars. That helps inflate prices around the world and subdue inflation here in the U.S. So quite frankly, part of this is our doing. As I've said many times, U.S. probably gets out of this scot-free. Europe definitely going into a recession, right? Energy prices really high, although it's been kind of a warm fall, so natural gas isn't going skyrocketing. U.S. exporting some inflation. That means ultimately the EU has to raise their rates too, just so their currencies don't get hit too much. Now, here's the thing. When we're exporting that inflation via dollar diplomacy for the Eurozone, they can't raise their rates as much because their economy isn't as strong. So ultimately, there's only so much they can do, but they do need to raise their rates some so that they don't fall too out of balance. Let's go to Brazil. Lula winning the election. Of course, he's sort of leftist versus Bolsonaro, who actually is just kind of a criminal. So not a bad switch over there in Brazil. One thing I'm keeping an eye on is Lula's plans for Petrobras, right? They are a huge part of not only the Brazilian economy, but one of the best deep water drillers in the world. In a world where you're looking at potentially not having Russian energy in its form on a go-forward basis, you need additional drilling. You need drilling from projects that are going to last a long time. Petrobras being a company with lots of experience doing that, and of course Brazil's offshore production being really one of the highlights of the Brazilian economy, you really want to make sure that that golden goose is not slain by a leftist government. Lula didn't do it this first time in office. Doesn't look like he's going to do it in his second term. But it is something that we're keeping an eye on a go-forward basis when we talk about global energy policy. Last but not least, let's talk about the Black Sea grain deal, right? Russia, Ukraine say, hey, we're going to let Ukraine export grain out of the Black Sea so that the world doesn't starve to death. That's a very good thing. But Russia's pulling out of the deal after a Russian ship was attacked by some drones. Looks like it was Ukrainians that were responsible for it. If so, if not, either way, those ships are right now going. There are about 12 ships that went out this morning. But if that grain doesn't flow, we have problems. Specifically, we have problems in the Middle East. We have problems in Africa. And of course, Middle East being the more dicey of those two. Remember, in a much more palliative version of this story, when wheat exports were low from Ukraine, that caused the Arab Spring. That was not good for leadership in the Middle East. Something that I will be keeping an eye on as the week and month progresses. If you want some additional info throughout the week, feel free to find me on the internet. I am out there. Until then, you, your family, have a really good rest of your Monday. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there while you're trick-or-treating. I'm out.